This computer. Roderick just joined. Share. So, excellent. Thank you, everyone, for our today's session. Founder Institute, GCC, was established in September 2020, right in the midst of the pandemic. And till now, we have a good portfolio of about 45 plus companies. We'll talk about that. We also have a very interesting panel where actually this is a recruitment event for our next cohort, which begins on September 5th. Just to give you a little bit of information about Founder Institute, we'll go through a short 4 or 5 slides presentation on who we are and why we do this. Today's topic is around how startups can effectively use the power of ChatGPT to transform their business. We're joined by an awesome panel today, which I'll shortly be introducing. And this is a quick agenda. We get started. These are Dubai times. You might be located in different time zones, but our core program runs from Dubai. This is why you'll see the Dubai times. We're going to do a quick FI introduction. We're going to do panelist introduction, and we begin the panel discussion followed by networking. So Founder Institute was established in 2009, and today we're the largest entrepreneurship creation organization or company creation organization in the world. We have 6,800 alumni spread over 200 plus cities, 100 plus countries. And, you know, the numbers are outstanding, right? So we have a large network of mentors, investors. We do not fund directly, but we have a FI venture network, which actually enables the funding part. So you can join us, go through the program, and then we connect you with our network. So our regional footprint has been very strong too, with the support of very solid mentors, investors who have believed in our portfolio. So we have 40 plus alumni. We've raised about $2 million funding from investors. Our value of the portfolio is about 50 million. 20 founders from different countries, from 20 plus countries, have joined us because they wanted to launch in the GCC countries. And our regional footprint of mentors is strong. 35 plus angel investors and institutional venture capital firms are aligned with us. We are present in UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, and we're looking for regional expansion. This is the team. I lead the region. Dr. Hanan is helping. She's based in Doha. We have Carmen as co-director. We have Ayhan, who's also the head of Founder Institute's growth strategy. So Ayhan has joined us. He's my co-host today. And we have Walid Al-Bashir as our co-director. We all know that the world is kind of broken into multiple parts. There are challenges, there are fires, there are wars. And so as Founder Institute, our mission is to empower talented founders or talented individuals to build impactful companies to solve these pressing problems in the world. Our goal is to reach a large portfolio of our companies to strictly follow UN SDGs. And since UN SDGs was incorporated very recently, which is 2015, only very small population of the startups actually comply to UN SDGs. So we are on a mission to also not only build impactful companies, but also help them how to build a startup according to the UN SDG norms. For that, we've kind of created a configurator or a planner called FI Progress Planner, which helps you step-by-step, guides you on developing your startup on the SDG framework. So hit fi.co/progress if you're a founder, and you'll be amazed by how easy it will be to generate an impact report on your startup specifically. We are the largest company creator in the world, I just mentioned. On the other side, we're also building some amazing people to fund you. So the program is called VC Lab. And that today has become the largest venture capital creator in the world. And this is how the network looks like. We're focusing on local communities through our programs. Community leaders in those programs run Founder Institute programs. As soon as the startups come and graduate from the Founder Institute, which is the core program, they get matched through the Founder Lab to the FI Venture Network. And the Venture Capital Lab, or the VC Lab, is actually funding some of these companies who are exceptional. We call some of the companies are called FI Select, which is top 2%, cream of the crop population of startups. This is some statistics. We're actually at cohort 12 in VC Lab, but these are some of the statistics. So if you are in the audience, if you're a venture capitalist or a would-be venture capitalist, want to take advantage, it's a free program. Do join us, go vclab.com. You will be amazed by the simplicity of the program to build a VC firm to fund some impactful startups. Some great alumni, medical robot, space, genetics, robotics, and quantum. And today here we are, I'd like to introduce, my name is Samir Sortur. I'm also the founding partner of Square Circle Ventures, which I recently incorporated in Palo Alto. We fund Series A companies, and I'm joined by Ayhan, Head of Global Growth for Founder Institute. And we'll kind of do a quick introduction. So let's start with Priya. Priya, go for it.
Hi, thanks, Samir. I'm Priya. I'm the founder of Zwag AI Solutions. So we are essentially what you can call truly one-stop shop solution for AI, for your AI business needs, because all our solutions are powered by our own proprietary large language model. We call it ZLang, Zwag's Large Analytical Graph. And for comparison, Falcon LLM here from this region is 40 billion parameters, and ZLang is 66 billion parameters. Now, why it is important and different is that a major part of it is trained on regional data sets. Currently, it's a closed foundation model, but it powers a lot of our tools like Zwag Chat, which is a conversational AI chatbot. Unlike a lot of other products, it is targeted specifically for the Gen Zers. And we have a build your own bot product as well, which helps small businesses and medium businesses to build their own bot with absolutely no code.
Brilliant. Thank you, Priya, for the quick introduction. Nicola?
Thank you, Samir. Yeah, my name is Nicola Betti. I'm the Executive Director of Applied Research, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship at Higher Colleges of Technology. So HCT is the largest higher education institutions in the UAE. We are present in the country with 16 campuses, and we are very much into enabling our students and our faculty to launch entrepreneurial ventures. I haven't been in academia for a long time. My previous experience was in Saudi Arabia with KAUST, where I set up the KAUST Innovation Fund, which is today one of the most active investors in technology startups, deep technology startups in the region. And before that, I've been working, setting up actually venture capital funds in Europe and in Russia. So I started my VCGP activity in 2001 in Luxembourg, setting up a fund to invest in the UK and France. And previous to that, I was a management consultant.
Excellent. Thank you, Nicola. Roderick?
Hey guys, pleasure to be here. So my name is Rod, founder of a product studio where we work most often with early stage startups, which can be initiated from founders or co-founders or even enterprises. And as far as AI goes, I would say that our experience is more towards the implementation of actually existing models, or training models based on existing larger models, and then implementing that into products rather than offering specific AI tools. And I'd say that we've seen, I'd say more than half of our existing clients are actually working with us to implement different AI models from text to text, text to image, or even helping in the backend to do matches from real estate marketplaces to recruiting and helping recruiters sort through candidates in order to get a competitive advantage, I'd say, in their market. So yeah, I don't think I'll have as much knowledge on the deep underlying technology, but would love to be here and speak more, especially for the commercial aspect of implementing it into existing products and improving those.
Lovely. Thank you, Rod. Firas?
Yes, hi. I'm Firas Sleiman. I'm the founder and CEO and also Chief AI Officer of a company called 10. We dubbed it 10 for the Executives Network. It's based in Qatar. It started as a venture builder for startups, and then it started the focus into AI startups in particular. So we take early stage and maybe even mid stage startups from inception and acceleration through even finding funding for them, but also through the actual building, the software development, the AI work that is required for them, and then we take them all the way to launch and to productization or even exits. Then we branched off a part of 10, which we call 10 with double N. It stands for the Enabling Neural Network, and where we built what we call the Arabic Enterprise AI Fabric. So we offer a solution for enterprises, for businesses, basically, to use a no-code platform for all of their AI needs, with connectors through their deep connectors into their data, into their applications, but the ability to run local models, whether language models or others, or expert models based on the Arabic language and specific Arabic dialects across the entire Middle East region. We are creating an open source community of plugins for 10.ai, which is 10.ai, TENN.ai is the platform, is our fabric, where developers can add more and more features for this enterprise solution. So basically, we help enterprises get onto AI very easily. And enterprises could be any startup, even individuals that have their own businesses or startups right now. So which is very relevant maybe to your conversation today. So we hope to expand also from Qatar to the region. We're already in talks with the UAE, with Saudi Arabia, with Egypt, with Turkey, and the list goes on.
Excellent. Thank you, Firas, and thank you all the panelists. We have Ayhan too. Ayhan, why don't we have your quick introduction and then we get to the panel? Ayhan?
Yeah, hey everyone. Thanks the panelists for joining. Really looking forward to this. My name is Ayhan Isaacs. I'm the head of global growth for the Founder Institute. I'm also the co-director with Samir for FI UAE. I'm an FI grad, big proponent of these talks, so I don't want to keep anybody waiting, and let's kind of jump into it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ayhan. Just kind of quick reminder to founders, if you're joining here, and if your launch market is the GCC countries, the 6 countries, which is UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, and Kuwait, you're more than very welcome to join our cohort. If you go to fi.co, immediately on the same page, you'll kind of see our application. Take our smart DNA assessment, and then there you go. Early deadline, July 30th, final deadline, August 27th. Our program begins on September 5. We have great founders already enrolled. So we're looking for some great people to join. The world is all about tech and AI. So if you are building an AI startup and want to get global advice, feel free to join. Thank you. So what we're gonna do, just go back quickly on the agenda, and so we're gonna have post the panel discussion. We're gonna have a quick networking. So if you want to stay, please stay for the networking. During the time of the panel discussion, we're gonna share the link to the networking. Ayhan, may I request you to kind of paste the link in the chat so people can join the AirMeet networking. So we'll do that. I'm going to stop the share and then directly hit the questions. Let's start with from the academia perspective. Like, let's start where it all starts. Let's start with curiosity. Everybody wants to learn about AI, ChatGPT, get educated. Trainers are running workshops. So Nicola, like when students come to you about ChatGPT and their curiosity about AI, what are some of the few questions they come up with, and what's their typical response would be?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, but I would like to give you a little bit of background of the kind of discussions that took place in academia initially when generative AI sort of exploded all of a sudden after, let's say, November last year. I think the first reaction was probably the same reaction that academia had when pocket calculator were introduced, or when the internet became available. So they started thinking about plagiarism, students cheating, and which in a way is not great, because it showed a sort of myopia of the general academic community. So the reaction has been initially very defensive. So we've been thinking or discussing about how we can avoid students using generative AI in their assignments or in their exams, et cetera, which is, again, is really anti-historical and against the progress. Again, we cannot stop technology, or we cannot defend ourselves against technology. So, and progressively, I think we digested the fact that generative AI is here to stay, is going to be a tool more than a challenge or a threat. The second, let's say, the second reaction, again, I'm going to be very transparent, because probably outside academia, this kind of conversation do not happen very often.
Yeah.
The second reaction was related to let's say IP generation or scientific discovery, or let's say authorship of papers. Same concept. So how we can avoid faculty researchers to use generative AI to extensively to publish and to avoid plagiarism and etc. Then I think the conversation became a bit more interesting, in my opinion, and because it shifted to IP protection. And in my opinion, it's a very interesting subject. So how can the output of certain generative AI can be protected, if can be protected? So is a generative AI a person, can be identified as a person, can be identified as an inventor, and how all this can happen. So can be a co-inventor, can be, and again, I think in most we ran recently a forum with few IP lawyers, and I think that most of the jurisdictions set on aside the issue. So generative AI is not really a person. It cannot be allocated of any rights of ownership of intellectual property, because ownership is either related to a juridical person, so a company, or an individual. So all this has been, still I think academia today is mostly, let's say, going around these three subjects, and about the fact, again, IP generation can be sort of distorted, the fact that plagiarism in publication can be impacted, and finally how students might use it. Again, they're sort of disappearing because clarity is becoming more obvious and more visible. The other big subject is more on the output. So AI is probably going to challenge millions of potential jobs.
Yeah.
And so our academic institution producing an output that will become irrelevant in short or medium term, which is a big question mark. So what is the impact on the employment? So again, recently we as I told you, we were on a forum, and on the first subjects, we found lots of interested people willing to share their ideas and their perspective. On the last one, paradoxically, nobody was brave enough to put together some forecast of some let's say future scenarios. Yeah. So,
got it. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for the kind of whole rundown on how academicians think when it comes to AI. And Priya, you might be working with a lot of cross industry, where you might require help from academia, industry, big tech to kind of develop these large language models. You yourself as a startup, how did it all evolve? Maybe like a brief story of how Zenny has evolved. And is Zenny, can you address Zenny as your co-founder?
Well, to begin with, Zini, we are kind of moving away from what the branding of Zini itself, because as I mentioned in the beginning, we have pivoted from just being a conversational AI social app for Gen Zers to being the owner of a large language model, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. It all began with the Zinies, just like a genie. You could say that we were the beta version of ChatGPT, because it all started long before people even heard about ChatGPT and the way it has evolved today. We were building something that needed to be to speak a certain way about that need to assist the Gen Zers and young millennials in their language. It was supposed to respond like someone belonging to this region in terms of conversational style, intonations, tone, dialect, and also to converse with that demography, with the slangs and the Gen Z lingo and everything. And we were also developing specific businesses, say, for example, to provide shopping recommendations, to bring up games, and to recommend movies near you. So very local recommendations as well. So we ended up creating our own large language model, right? It was not, I wouldn't say that we came in thinking that, okay, let's develop a large language model or a conversational AI solution. We came in with a specific problem, and we looked at the tools or what is the means of solving that problem. And it ended up being conversational AI. Now that we have built our own large language model, it's a closed model. So we have not published the sources, but like what Firaz was saying, that the focus now is definitely to build smaller, low-power language models that are specific to industries like healthcare, manufacturing, for education, industry-specific data sets, because the trend is definitely going towards that. So yes. We are really giving a deliberate focus on ethics, responsibility, and the ESG goals. As we speak, we are drafting an ESG framework. So I believe that is the right thing to do, especially with all the discussions about super alignment and sentience and AGI and everything. I think it's very important to focus on that. So it definitely we did work with the others in the space to develop the LLM, but a lot of our data set is from the regional regional data sets. So a lot of it came from regional research papers, a lot of it connecting to the academia, a lot of it from the social media, social networks, communities, data from real people, from real conversations.
Excellent, excellent. Rod, you might be kind of encountering working with very early stage companies because you kind of take them through a journey of building ventures in your studio. When they come in early, maybe they're not even thinking ChatGPT or AI or whatever. But then how do you kind of help them understand the power of technology, kind of to then progress them to adopt technology, which can then help them become more defensible in this AI competitive world?
It's a really good question. I think initially you had the struggle where, especially when GPT just became big, and then people could use the API, especially with the language models from OpenAI, that a lot of the clients we were working with, they just wanted to put a smart chatbot in their app, but you're not really adding any value to your users, I guess, because if they know about, ChatGPT from OpenAI, they can just go there. So the good thing is now, as I guess the hype has kind of decreased, but that doesn't mean that the space has, that the space targeted. We've seen that even our clients are understanding, our customers, that it makes more sense to first of all see what problems they're trying to solve with their businesses, and if AI can actually provide solutions to that. And what we are seeing right now is actually making use of AI in the same way that startups would make use of microservices usually. So let's say one hired just the implementation of GPT, not to train any specific model or anything else like that. A recruiting platform that would automatically provide recruiters a brief summary of a candidate. And I think that's a much better example of implementing AI, where maybe you don't even need to advertise it as AI, but it's really functional, instead of you trying to build something super shiny that looks like ChatGPT, but it's actually not really offering anything new.
Got it. And for us, so the context is from early stage startups moving, developing into kind of building into ventures, and then obviously, for us, you might be working with a lot of executives in your network. When it comes to large corporations, what is their model of collaboration, or are they open to kind of accepting this new kid on the block startup to kind of, because it's going to disrupt their business, it's going to disrupt banks. So from a technology side, I want to divert a little bit on the business side, saying, how is it how do you maneuver their thinking, their perception, so that they feel secure working with you, collaborating with you, but also you provide them the right platform, right solution that will solve their immediate or futuristic problem?
Yeah, that's a maybe multimodal question.
Multimodal question. Yeah, a couple of elements there.
So look, I come from consulting, and I've done 27 years of consulting. I was a senior partner running the technology practices at PwC, before that BCG, before that Booz Allen. And I find that all the mindset of my clients, the previous clients, which are all executives, ministers, CEOs, heads of government organizations, has not changed. Now that AI has come in, they see it as this cool kid on the block, and they want it, but they don't know what they want from it. So they still think of it as a digital transformation. They still say things like, okay, yeah, connect AI to my data and then give me a report, right? Which anyway, the tools have been doing this for the last 10 years or 15 years with the existence of things like Power BI, like the SAP analytics platforms, because there's so much, right? So they're still in a very conventional thinking model. And that's what is being missed in general. And I would say this also to all the AI startups, or the startups that want to use AI, both. If it's a startup that is about AI or a startup that wants to use AI, you have to be able to think outside of the box and not just conventional digital transformation thinking when you're thinking of AI. I'll give you an example. I mean, to me, the perfect metaphor is AI, when the language models came in and when AI was offered to the masses, to the public, the only reason why it became popular is because it speaks like a human, right? AI has existed since the 60s and it accelerated in the 80s and 90s. And so AI is not new. The fact that now a person, not a programmer, can come in and speak to AI and ask questions is what made it popular in the last maybe year and a half right now with the language models. But it's the metaphor to me is it's as if you're giving a person to a company, right? If I've given you right now a new person, right? You have no idea what this person's capabilities are. I gave you this person and I said, this person can speak any language you want. Just take them into your office, start a conversation with them and see what they can do. That's what ChatGPT did, right? They give you this superpower, but you don't know what is the capability inside it. And so what you're doing is you're starting to ask questions through the interface. You're asking the questions from your perspective in your box. You're still asking the old questions, like how can I enhance a diagram? How can I generate a picture? These are simple questions. AI is supposed to do a lot more than this. So the applications of AI to me need a new way of thinking. And this is where we can help, the experts in AI, we can help in kind of maybe transcending or increasing the level of introspection that leaders and even startup founders can do when they're using AI. For example, there's floating videos that are going around right now about how AI can use anomaly detection on the brain by running an MRI on the brain in order to predict what the person is thinking and what from studying the patterns of of brain activity throughout, for example, let's say a week or 2 weeks of a person looking at pictures, while the brain is just the brain is running an MRI and the brain activity scans are being done and fed to AI, and then after that, if you show a new picture or a new thought to a person, and you ask AI, look at the MRI of my brain, tell me what I'm thinking, then AI can, from that machine learning model, can predict what your brain is doing. So this type of thinking does not come from conventional old style thinking. You need to be someone who's thinking outside the box to realize what are the powers of AI. So in more technical terms for the founders, what I would say is try to go one level below the simple stuff. Right? It's the simple questions AI of course can do, because AI is a very largely accelerated human that has lots of knowledge and lots of processes, lots of know-how or experience that has been fed to it through machine learning. But think one layer below. How does it work? What is the language model? How is knowledge interpreted? How does AI do, for example, things like segmentation? Just try to understand these terms that are a little bit more technical, but they give you a lot of power. What is segmentation? Like, how does a computer vision work? When AI takes a video or a picture, what does it do? How does it detect that this is an object? This, for example, behind me, this frame is a frame. There's an object, there's a person in it, there's a wall. How does it do that? Because once you start thinking at that level, and you start decomposing how AI works, then this human that was given to you called ChatGPT becomes not just a random human and I'm just having a conversation with it, that becomes an expert that knows how to do these 100 things. And now you know these 100 things and you can start implementing those in your startups. And these become your superpowers.
Excellent. I think that was a lot of deep dive, so deep dive technical. But I really like what you said. Think a level below, and this is why everybody on LinkedIn started prompt engineering. That they actually started understanding how AI worked, and they started to simplify that by writing prompts so that people are lazy. They don't want, there are only certain people who can think that too technical. While as the other people, in order to take that technology to the masses, obviously you have to simplify and hence things like I always imagine, I write imagine this, imagine that, imagine XYZ,
Yes.
to kind of increase my own imagination, because I never imagined that.
Yes.
So,
Without reading the manual, it's very hard to
yeah,
imagine things. You're still bound
exactly.
by your box. Yeah.
Exactly. So very interesting circular conversation we kind of completed on, startups. We looked at, Priya's, sitting in the region, developing a solely large language model with such a huge data set is just amazing. Rod, taking his inputs of early stage companies and moving them into the venture development pipeline to kind of make them technology ready with the new technologies. And Nicola, you talked a lot about IP and IP influencing and plagiarism. I want to touch upon, all of us, when it comes to AI, and everybody signed a pledge to stop AI and things like that, right? But then X.AI came in suddenly out of nowhere for the betterment of humanity. I don't even know what that means. Okay. Or to preserve humanity, to conserve humanity. But from your academic perspective, you've kind of also done a lot of work in technology. From an academic perspective, when it comes to students, and their status quo and learning and enabling technologies about AI and ChatGPT, how do you help them understand what is ethical and what is not ethical? Like, what's your teaching there? How do you imbibe that culture or that wave of thinking into your students?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I would like, if you don't mind, to build up a bit on what Firas just mentioned, because
Okay.
and also to question that I didn't answer when you first asked me something. So what is the questions that our students or our faculty are asking related to AI? So again, very different. So on one side, you have students that are probably more shocked as Joe Sixpacks, let's say, about what they read on the papers. So they would like to embrace something new, like maybe what they wanted to embrace a few months ago related to metaverse or to blockchain or the hype of the moment. And again, the sort of feedback we provide to them is more or less what Firas was saying. Think about a need, think about a business, and think about the components, not just the ultimate, the components of the technology, not just the ultimate assembly of those components, which is ChatGPT. Faculty, of course, have a better understanding, so they know that AI, machine learning, all this kind of stuff has been there for decades. They understand that what we see, what we've been seeing since November last year is basically an assembly of computing power, availability of data, algorithms, stochastic algorithms, well packaged in a way that was fed to the masses, and that was really, really impressive. Everybody was shocked by that. But all this kind of stuff, algorithms exist since the beginning of civilization. Data is more and more abundant and more available online, and computing power has been growing linearly or exponentially since the introduction of the computers and networks. So all this kind of stuff has been there. What we try to avoid is both faculty and student startup embracing ChatGPT on very much the surface, so simply embedding APIs, ChatGPT APIs into business that have nothing to do with that. And we try to stimulate their creativity or their discovery willingness on something that is more on the actual components and actually solving real needs, on health sciences, on drug discovery, again, you name it. ethics. This is a different topic. So again, as you might imagine, the use of ChatGPT to draft documents has really exploded, and this is pretty obvious on the student side, but also on actual publication, scientific publication side. What we sort of think is that if faculty are writing papers using AI, ChatGPT is like way leveraging a junior research assistant. So non-human, that is collecting data. They still need to read carefully what the junior research assistant has been writing, because ChatGPT is prone to hallucinations and to distort reality. But still, it's something that it will become more and more frequent again, and there is nothing we can do to stop it. I think our eyes are becoming more and more, let's say, good in detecting text written with, or let's say, the output of these kind of models. Probably this will change soon. Again, these models are becoming more and more powerful. They are trained better and better, but still, in a way, the human touch is sort of recognizable for any manifestation. Again, any kind of output, both text or videos or whatever else. So, in terms of ethics, again, these are. I mean, ethics is not related to a single technology. Again, we can raise red flags whenever they appear, but again, people know what is right or what is wrong. So it's not really that intrinsically unethical or ethical. So you can use. I mean, a knife can be used in the kitchen to cut meat, or cut an apple, or to kill people. So
sure. I think very interestingly put. Academia has started embracing it very widely, and obviously, Priya, in your case, a deep tech startup, AI-based startup, born in the UAE, acceptance, rejection, large language model, big tech even thinking competition. How can a startup kind of develop something? What are some of the defensibilities you built in your startup, right? Like, so help us understand some of the defensibilities. Maybe they're secrets where you don't want to disclose, but somehow on a very high level, one or two ingredients which make you successful.
Yeah. So it's very interesting what others mentioned, especially what Rodney was saying, that a lot of startups or businesses don't even need AI, right? They really don't need AI. So when we were at Seamless last a couple of months back, and we were demoing our Zinies, at that point it was still called a Zini, the Zwag chat bots, right? People would come and ask us, okay, we want a Zini for our website or whatever. And we would just tell them that this is a no-code bot builder. Just go and use it in simple 2 steps. You create a bot for your website. Just drop it on your website. Use it for a month. Tell us if you need anything more. If you need anything more, then we can look at creating something more customized, and that will call our language model, large language model. Otherwise, it's just, maybe an automation, as simple as that. But then when more and more people from specific industries started approaching us, we also realized that there is a real need for models such as these to be able to fine tune, like what Firas was saying, right? A lot of open source models, open AI models that you have are not fine tunable. GPT-4, for example, you cannot fine tune it. They're saying it might come by the end of the year, but you cannot fine tune it. Falcon LLM is supposed to be it apparently you can fine tune it. So fine tunable models that specifically that can be trained for your industry, for your business, and that's what Zlang does. And also there is also this entire concern about data privacy, data sovereignty, about sending your enterprise proprietary knowledge and data outside of your premises, outside into what you could call a black box model, which does not tell you what actually what the source codes are, what data it's been trained on, and things like that. So instead of sending proprietary enterprise data into a black box model, what we are able to do is to spin local instances of Zlang on your premises, on your, we use government graded secure cloud to host our clients' information. So that's another thing. So, and as I said, it's an end-to-end solution, right? Because we have a language model that you can fine-tune. We will help you co-create the chat flows, co-create a product with you, and the entire customer service maintenance, hosting, everything is done in-house. Especially when it comes to data ethics and the safety is the kind of guardrails that we have already put in. Falcon really doesn't, Falcon LLM, if I'm comparing something from this region, doesn't really say exactly what safety systems and, to remove duplication. It's very vague. The language is very vague. What we have done, of course, is to start off with Nemo guardrails, and we have rated, we have trained it based on a safety system of 0 to 5. Every response is rated on a basis, a question is, it is rated on a rate of 0 to 5. And if there is something that is flagged at 4, say, for example, some question about harming oneself, like suicide and things like that, our language model is trained to respond with help and resources, like a local emergency number. This is to be empathetic enough to kind of say that, okay, it's not the right thing to do. And then if it's 5, it's flagged as 5, outrightly reject response, right? And record that on our model. So these are some of that we are very carefully building it. A lot of people, Samir, to tell you that a lot of people have told me that why don't you go out and toot your horn and say things like, this is a large language model that we have built here, and it's better.
Exactly. I would tell you that.
Yeah, but I want to be cautious. I don't know if it's being a female founder. I don't know, it's now nature, not sure, but we want to be very, very sure what we are putting out there. I don't want Zlang to be used to create another ChatGPT like shiny gift wrap lipstick on ChatGPT, another product. We want to use our very precious compute power, especially because we are a smaller entity. It puts strain when you train our models to output quality data. It means a lot of strain on our infrastructure, and so I want to use that compute power for researchers, for scientists, for students who are for industries that would really make a positive impact. And that's why I think for some time to come we will remain a closed model.
No, that's a very good mission. That's a very good mission what you're aiming for, and that caution will also lead to being more like you rightly said, you're teaching the language model to be more empathetic, which is actually required in today's world. Most of the technology which is developed, or even the human interaction with technology, is very aggressive, right? There are no reflection points. So when you're teaching this to a language model to be more empathetic, I think then the resultant output is your karma. So that having said, I want to focus with Rod on the startups which come into your studio and have implemented some of these new emerging technologies. Do they also kind of report some metrics on customer experience and engagement? Like, do they come back and say, "Hey, we've worked with you, and this is some of the data customers have given us back on feedback on their engagement with the customers"? What's your experience of actual some data received from startups you've been developing?
So we work with quite early stage startups, production startups that do have traction and customers already. So the feedback that they get mainly relies on actual user interviews as to what they think, and most of the clients that we work with are actually B2B SaaS products. Okay. So it is possible in this space when it's B2B to have contact with a significant number of your customers. And the feedback that we get, that they have gotten and we've learned from, is that usually it's much better if any AI feature is actually embedded within existing features rather than trying to make it shiny and put a title that says AI out there, and then you have to go there and use it. So if I also think of something is, for example, Google way before the hype would actually use AI. If you do a search in Google, it would use AI to even see through YouTube videos and their transcripts to give you answers. Didn't label it as AI, but the users loved it. So we've seen it that when an app is not an AI app but can make use of AI, it usually is best to just use AI in the background to actually improve the current processes. And there was one really good point that Firas made earlier about really knowing what the technology is about, so you can make use of it. But we've also seen, at least with very early stage startups that need to be really focused on solving a problem, that there needs to be some sort of a balance where you should not spread too thin on thinking that what is everything that AI can do for me, rather than in the case of these early stage startups, what problem am I solving and is the AI going to be useful for it? If so, let's go and implement it. If not, maybe it's not the right time yet.
Okay, I think we have a question from Ayhan. Ayhan, go for it.
Yeah, hey everyone. Yeah, I'm just listening in. I think a lot of great golden nuggets here. I jump on a lot of calls with founders on like different things around their startups, whether it's validation, go-to-market, product development, whichever. What I think would be super helpful for any of the founders on this call or who's going to be watching this later is that, again, like just because we have only 10 minutes left, maybe each one of you want to give a very brief response on how you think founders in their early stage of their development should be using AI and ChatGPT, like at a very high level. Like, for example, I was on the call today with the head of social for our organization. It's like, yeah, we should be using Midjourney to create images. We should be using ChatGPT or Jasper to create Facebook ad copy. We need to be using another AI product to clean it up. We need to be using AI to clean up our YouTube videos. So we're already starting to integrate AI into our workflows just to become efficient. So like, as subject matter experts in the field, I would love to get your thoughts, like what products or tools or what workflows should somebody as a founder be thinking about, and how should they be using AI in their workflow, whether if you're a founder. Maybe for us, do you want to kick things off and then we can?
Sure, happy to. Thank you. That's a great question. I think, look, I mean, the list of things that you can do with AI is very long, but if you wanted to ask for what are the top five things that I would do if I was starting a company from scratch, I think that now the power of AI with ChatGPT, but specifically with OpenAI and ChatGPT, in my mind, is analysis and research. And so what I would do is using plugins, which now ChatGPT offers. There are a few plugins that allow you to connect to websites, and there are some that allow you to connect to your own data. But the first thing that you should definitely do is research your idea using ChatGPT. Look at whether similar organizations in the world are doing the same thing. And once you do find it, and here's where the power of generative language models is, you then can create variations on that idea. So if you find that 100 or 1,000 other companies have done the exact same thing that you've done, maybe ask the question of what else can be done, and use the creativity of transformers and language models with the power of your data. So, for example, upload your Excel sheet of your models, your ideas, or maybe a PDF document that describes your idea into GPT, connect that data to it. Also connect some websites that have research of inventions, for example, like USPTO, which is US Patent and Trade Office. And you can connect that data, and then ask the question, what can I do that has not been done? And then use the power of research and analysis that GPT has in order to ingest all of this data, and then for it to give you the top 20 ideas of things that either you can improve your product with, or additional things that you can do that you're not doing today that no one else is doing, and that are based on the massive amount of data that GPT has that are needed in society. And even you can even then drill it down back further into things related to the region, things related to a sector, an industry. So this way you're getting, it's almost like you're having a mentor that knows everything, knows what's out there, what are the inventions and the patents that are out there, what you can do, and what is the demand, the market demand, and to fine tune or even maybe sometimes change completely or radically change your idea and create an idea that is relevant and marketable and that has a market. I would just give that maybe one thing, and then I'll let the others to maybe add more.
That's a lot of one things, but yeah, that's a great point. Nicola, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I would probably give 3 suggestions. So the first one is to avoid to jump into the bandwagon just for the sake of following the last hype. Again, unfortunately, the tech sector and also, I would say VCs or investors, so they tend to quickly embrace the last hype, but very quickly jump out of it. If you look at the data of the last, let's say, 24 months deals in AI, or you see that maybe investors at a global level, we're investing in 10 companies per quarter, and all of a sudden you see a spike in Q2 2023 of 100 deals. This cannot be true. I mean, this cannot be high quality deal flow. This cannot be high quality companies. These are companies that are embracing generative AI simply because it's the last fashion, as they were embracing metaverse a few months ago or blockchain 1 year ago. So don't do that just because it's cool. The second point is focus on customer needs. So again, there is no startup successful without providing a solution to a real problem. Not very rare startups get out of the needs the startup is addressing, and probably the only way to address it more efficiently or in terms of cost or performance or more effectively is embracing AI. The third, maybe a bit more practical suggestion is to maybe try to understand on, let's say, on in terms of B2B opportunities, what a big corporation can save in terms of money or in terms of people, essentially, for certain activities that can be run very effectively with artificial intelligence. And again, don't think that AI is ChatGPT. So AI is data, storage, computing, and algorithms. They can have a special. I mean, they were mixed up in a special form in very recently, but they've been around for a very long period of time, and you can do very amazing stuff with simply again adopting business models that simply leverage the availability and the low cost of compute, the generation of new algorithms, so new way of dealing with data, and you can be very successful. But again, starting from the customer need or the big corporate client need, in my opinion, is the source of success for most startups, for all startups, I would say.
Perfect. Thanks, Nicola. We only have about a minute left. So Rod and Priya, do you just want to give one-liner suggestions to this heavy topic?
Yeah, quickly, I would say, there's a recent post I saw on LinkedIn about 74% of the investors like the pitch decks that are generated out of AI, apparently. So if you're so try using that. I've not used it because I don't use ChatGPT because it's my competitor. When you have to come to AI-based decisions, whether you have to outsource it to AI, if you're a solopreneur or a lean startup team, always look at what can you outsource, something that you can do better, but you don't have to spend time on it. Whatever you would otherwise outsource to another person, try using AI as a kind of a help quickly. That's what I would say.
Perfect. Thanks. Rod, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, just so a lot of the advice was really useful, especially for using AI even in processes of a team rather than making it part of a product. But if you'd be making it part of a product, I'd say maybe look at what you're solving, then look at the tools. Okay. So, maybe still being acquainted on what are the AI tools and what do they accomplish. And then look at your product, and the same way as that you'd look at your product and you'd be like, oh, the search is very slow, so I'm going to implement Algolia to solve this search. But you're not coming up with, okay, Algolia is a really cool product, let me find a way to implement it if your search is fast to begin with. So I'd say probably that, acquaint yourself with AI tools and then look at your product to see if it's needed.
Got it. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Samir, I'll kick it back over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Very grateful to all the panelists. I mean, it's 1 hour is too less for such a heavy topic. But we were able to ingest a lot more. But I'm really grateful to everyone, to Nicola, to Priya for sharing her experience, to Rod, and to Firas for being here, for the founders, for supporting our founders, to kind of take their AI journey to the next level. As I said, our final deadline is August 27th. Our program kicks off on the 5th of September. This is our fall 2023 cohort. So if you want to join, feel free to join us. We are going to be networking for 30 minutes. Ayhan just pasted the AirMeet link. So if any of the mentors are available, please join. If not, we thank you very much for your time today, and we look forward to continuing our engagement with you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.